When people talk about Hugo versus Da Vinci, the conversation usually centers on surgeons, procedures, or clinical outcomes. But there's a parallel reality that matters just as much: how these systems behave when engineers are the ones supporting them. This presentation focuses entirely on that perspective. Both Hugo and Da Vinci are highly complex robotic surgery systems designed to operate in safety critical environments. They are reliable by design, but no system is immune to faults, wear, or user related issues. When something does go wrong, the design philosophy behind the system determines how quickly an engineer can diagnose, isolate, and resolve the issue. In this session, we're not trying to declare a winner. Instead, we're exploring which system tends to be easier for engineers to support in real hospital environments and why. Ease of support is what is it influenced by? It's influenced by the architecture of the system, the diagnostics, the modularity, training, and the maturity of it in the field. Understanding these factors helps engineers work more effectively, and it helps hospitals make better long-term decisions. Engineer support is not a background activity. In robotic surgery, uptime directly affects patient scheduling, theater utilization, and clinical confidence. A cancelled robotic list doesn't just delay surgery, it disrupts the staff, it disrupts the patients, the hospital operations. And engineers are the bridge between the system design and the clinical use. And we see how systems behave outside of controlled environments. We deal with cables under strain, connectors exposed to repeated handling, software updates, unexpected user workflows. When comparing Hugo and Da Vinci, ease of support matters because it shapes how quickly systems return to service after a fault, how confident staff feel using the system, and how sustainable long-term deployment is. Good support design reduces stress, reduces risks, and ultimately protects the patients. That's why this comparison is worth making from an engineering perspective. One of the biggest differences engineers experience between Hugo and Da Vinci is system architecture. As we've seen from previous videos, Hugo uses independent arm carts, each with defined power and data connections. This modular structure creates clear boundaries between the subsystems. From a troubleshooting perspective, that can be an advantage. If one arm exhibits a fault, engineers can often isolate the issue to that specific cart without impacting the rest of the system. Modular architecture supports targeted diagnostics and replacement. However, on the other hand, Da Vinci takes a more integrated approach, with multiple arms mounted on a single patient cart. This creates a unified mechanical and electrical system. While this can simplify setup and alignment, it can also mean that certain faults affect multiple arms or the entire system. Neither approach is, you could say, inherently better, but they simply lead to different troubleshooting strategies and different support experiences for engineers in the field. Hugo was designed in a modern service environment where guided diagnostics are expected. Engineers are supported by structured fault messages, system checks, and defined recovery steps. This can be especially helpful for less experienced engineers or in high pressure situations. Da Vinci benefits from long-term maturity. Many common issues are already well known, and experienced engineers often recognize faults based on just the symptoms alone. And this pattern recognition comes from years of exposure and accumulated field knowledge, where the Hugo does not. From a support perspective, Hugo tends to feel more structured, while Da Vinci rewards experience and familiarity. Both systems require strong fundamentals, but they stress different skills. Ease of troubleshooting isn't just about intelligence, it's about how clearly the systems communicate what's wrong and what the next step should be. Preventive maintenance. This is where support design shows its long-term impact. Hugo's modular design allows engineers to approach PM tasks by subsystems. Focusing on specific cart interfaces or components, this can make planning and execution more logical. Da Vinci's PM's routines are highly standardized and predictable. Many tasks are repetitive but well defined, reducing the variability between sites and engineers. This predictability can be a significant advantage in busy hospital environments. For engineers, ease of PM isn't just about speed, it's about clarity, repeatability, and minimizing the risk of introducing new issues. Both systems achieve this differently, but both aim to support safe, reliable long-term operation. Installation is one of the most demanding phases for engineers. Hugo's modular architecture means more physical components, more cabling, and more configuration steps. This increases complexity, but also provides flexibility in room layout and workflow. Da Vinci installations are highly standardized. Once teams are trained, installs can be efficient, repeatable, and predictable. These reduces variation and shortens learning curves. From an engineering perspective, neither approach is easier by default. Modular installs rewards careful planning and systems thinking, while standardized installs reward procedural discipline. Ease of support during installation depends heavily on preparation, documentation, quality, and teamwork. Supporting Hugo often feels closer to supporting a networked technical system. Engineers interact with software tools, data connections, and distributed subsystems. Comfort with IT-style troubleshooting is valuable. Da Vinci, while still highly technical, places more emphasis on mechanical systems and established hardware behavior. Engineers often develop strong tactile and procedural familiarity over time. Neither skill set is superior. Ease of support depends partly on how well an engineer's strengths align with the system's design, and understanding your own preferences can help guide career designs within surgical robotics. Downtime is where support design is truly tested. Hugo's modularity can allow faster isolation of faulty components, potentially reducing the impact of failures. Clear recovery paths help engineers act decisively. Da Vinci's recovery procedures benefit from maturity and repetition. Experienced teams often restore systems quickly through familiarity and well-rehearsed processes. In both systems, engineer confidence plays a major role. Systems that communicate clearly and support recovery reduce stress, reduce error risks, and shorten downtime. Ease of support is ultimately measured by how quickly and safely the system returns to clinical use. Hugo is a newer system, and its support ecosystem continues to mature. Procedure tools and best practices are still being refined as more systems are deployed globally. Da Vinci benefits from decades of deployment data. Many service challenges have already been identified and addressed through design updates, documentation, and training. From an engineering perspective, ease of support today may not be the same in 5 years. Engineers should consider how systems evolve over time and how that affect workload, training, and career development. Final takeaways. So which system is easier for engineers to support, Hugo or Da Vinci? The honest answer is that it depends on the engineer. the hospital environment, and the support structure in place, because that is always different. Hugo's modular software-driven design can simplify isolation and guided troubleshooting. Da Vinci's integrated mature design offers predictability and familiarity built over years of field experience. The key takeaway is this: understanding design philosophy makes support easier. Engineers who understand why a system is built the way it is can troubleshoot more calmly, communicate more clearly, and deliver safer, more reliable outcomes for patients.